Alright, we are on video number 27, so we're almost done with the Mastro Futures 2.0 blueprint. Again, I'll probably make a 3.0 in the future as I grow better as a trader, but again, this is probably going to be the second to last video. I'm going to film this video and then I'm going to go over what I think you guys should do and treat this and how you should learn to get better in the long term. Again, you're not going to become a profitable trader, or again, I'm not saying there's any promises. It's just the way I trade. It works well for me. And again, you guys see my results on my YouTube channel. Again, of course, I'm not where I want to be yet, but we still have a lot to grow. And again, as I get better as a trader, the more videos I'll make. And again, I just want to post my whole journey on there. And whoever wants to follow along, you're more than welcome to, right? And we already went over this a bunch. So in this video, I want to go over time frame, what we're looking for, when to take a trade. Again, I trade New York AM session. That's it. I'll make videos in the future on PM session. I used to trade PM session, but I'm currently trying to stick to this one session right now. It's been working best for me. So we'll do a video on PM session in the future. And again, I used to trade London session. I never really traded Asian session. Again, because I don't like how the market moves. But yeah, maybe we can go over a London session. But again, I never really traded NASDAQ and S&P 500 during London session. I usually only did that with Forex, with like gold and stuff. So again, that's been a while. I've been focused on NASDAQ and S&P 500, so futures, for the past 3 years now. So again, it's been a while since I dabbled in the Forex world, and I wasn't really good in the Forex world, to be totally honest with that, because again, it was still in the beginning of my journey. But again, I think, I don't know, sometimes I look at gold and I feel like my strategy or ICT concepts or smart money concepts can work well with that also. So other than that, let's jump into this. I want to go over time frames. I'm going to make it better so you guys can see it now too. I made the picture a little bit bigger so you guys can see it, and we're just going to stick to one chart and not the two multiple ones. So what I want to go over is, again, this is how I mark out my time frames and sessions. So again, before market open, right? I usually do my daily routine. I get up, I eat my food, blah, 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 on and on. And then I mark out my sessions. 9:30 open, right? Market open. The macro, and then I also get my high time frame draws and liquidity, and then my my draws and liquidity is pretty much it. So other than that, I mark out my session highs and lows, right? Okay, so we have London session, we have Asian session, and then again we're going to be trading New York session. So what we should do when we first go into market open, right? We know that market opens at 9:30 a.m. Eastern time, right? So you guys can see that. I usually go on the 30-minute time frame, like we go for Friday. I'd look for 9:30 a.m. Eastern time, and then I would start to mark out my high time frame draws and liquidity, right? Other than that, I mark out London session, which I mark out at 3 a.m. Eastern time. And then for Asian session open, I mark that out on 6 p.m. So this would be 6 p.m. on Thursday, 6 p.m. Eastern time. So Asian session, 6 p.m. Eastern time, the previous day. The day we're trading on, right? Which would be Friday. We'd mark out 9:30 a.m. for Friday. We mark out that for New York session, and then for London session, we mark out 3 a.m. Eastern time, right? And then we look for our session highs and lows, right? You should already know how to do that by watching that video that I made on liquidity. Again, if you want to go back and watch that, that's totally up to you. Go watch that, and I'll go over it. But in this video, we're just going over what we'll do, right? So again, we'll mark out our session highs and lows. I literally, in TradingView, if you guys want me to show you a TradingView video, if you're still a beginner trader, I do have one previously when I first started off on YouTube. I can make a new one and explain it a little bit better if you'd like me to, but again, I already have all my stuff here. It makes it easier to mark it out. Again, I just have Asian session. I click that. I've always had Asian session as an orange line. Don't ask me why I have it as orange. I don't know. It was just something random I did. And then again, I have just my London session. If we want to go to London session highs, again, pre-market opens up at 8 a.m. Eastern time for New York session. So again, if you have London highs, right, if it says 8 a.m. and the highs at 8 a.m., I don't mark that out because that's pre-market open, right, for New York session. So it's 3 a.m. excuse me. Mark out the high or the low from 3 a.m. to like 7:30 a.m. Eastern time. I usually go to it. But if it's 8 a.m., that's pre-market open for New York session. I don't mark that out. All right. But again, this would be London session low right here at 5 a.m. I have that as a brighter orange. So again, that's just how I've traded over the years and what colors I used for them. And it's just what I stick with. So, all right. So we'll probably write this down for you guys so you guys can write this down in your notes. So what we're looking for, when we come into market open, right, we mark out New York AM. We'll do open. So New York open is at 9. I'm not too good on the keyboard, guys. EST. Then you can mark out London session, right? We'll do highs / lows. I marked that out at 3 a.m. EST. And then mark out Asian session high / lows. I marked that out at 6 p.m. EST. Okay, you guys can see that. Put that in your notes. Write that down. These are the time frames I mark out, right? We mark out 9:30 a.m. Eastern time, right, for market open. That's where we want to see price open up, right? The market opens up, then we're going to start getting into our trading. I personally don't take trades right off market open. I never did well doing that. Some people do. If that works for you, go ahead, do that. But again, I usually wait for the macro time frame to take a trade, right? But again, it matters on what setup is there, if there's news, all that stuff. And again, you'll learn that stuff if you go back in the blueprint. Or again, I'll probably have to make a news video. I haven't made a news video yet. But what you're going to do, mark out New York session, AM, right? Then you're going to mark out London session, right? So that's 3 a.m. And then Asian session, 6 p.m. Mark out the highs and lows of Asian session and London session. And then mark out your high time frame draws and liquidity, like your 4 hour and your 1 hour, right? You should know how to do that by watching the videos already. What I was talking about with the macro before, right? So usually I'll just scale down to the 5-minute time frame, but we'll look for market open, right? And then we mark out 9:50 a.m., right? This is when the macro opens. Usually I don't like taking a trade in between this little window right here because, again, the market hasn't developed yet, and most of the time it's not showing you which direction the market wants to go yet, right? Sometimes the market will chop around here or fake people out or try and stop people out before the real move happens. Again, that's what I've learned over the long term. I learned that also just by studying people online. And again, I incorporated that in my trading. And sometimes, like when I do trade within that, before the macro opens up, I feel like I mainly lose every single time I take a trade. Again, I'll win some of them and I'll get lucky, I would say. The setup is there. But again, you got to see what the market's doing. Give it time to develop. If, let's say, it's swept out a high time frame draw on liquidity and we broke structure in the 5-minute time frame and then we continued up, scaled down to 1 minute, and your trade presents itself around like 9:45 a.m. Eastern time, I'd probably take it. But again, most of the time I want to wait for the macro time frame to open up. Usually I want to take a trade between 9:50 and 10:10 a.m. Eastern time. That's like the sweet window where I want to see a setup present itself, get into a trade, and let the trade run until we hit take profit or stop loss. So that's personally what I do. So again, this is going to be more of a simple video. This is just, if you want to go back and look at the blueprint, right? We have all the concepts that we use, the confluences we use, all that stuff. This is just the time frame that I trade. Again, I only trade New York AM session. That's it. This is what my bread and butter is. I don't trade anything else. I'm focusing on this right now until I get to where I can be, to be able to scale up and maybe dabble into the other time frames. But if I want to go trade London session, I'm probably going to go back to Forex and trade that. But again, I'm not focused on trading Forex right now. I just want to trade futures, and that's it, because that's what I do best, and that's what I'm mostly interested in. But again, it's totally up to you guys if you want to do what you want to do. So again, write this down in your notes. It's pretty simple. So again, if you studied the blueprint and you learned liquidity and you learned all the continuation confluences and how I set up my trades, if you go back in my trade recap, you'll see I talk about London session high, Asian session lows. We swept that, all that stuff, and I'm pretty sure I went over that in a video in the blueprint. So again, in the strategy creation, I would think I did. I'm pretty sure I did. Yeah, in the strategy prep and stuff like that, I definitely went over that. So other than that, this is a pretty simple video. It's 9 minutes long. But again, these are the time frames I mark out during AM session. So you got New York AM session, London session, and then Asian session. And remember, New York AM session pre-market, right? Opens at 8 a.m. Eastern time. So remember, mark that out too. But again, I don't trade pre-market. I never trade pre-market. Some people do, but I personally don't. I trade right when market opens. I wait for the macro to pass by and open up, and then I see if there's news or anything. If my trade presents itself, I take it. If it doesn't, I don't take a trade that day. I usually stop looking for a trade around 10:30 to 10:45 a.m. if I don't see a setup presenting itself. Like if we're just chopping around and price isn't doing anything, I usually just walk away and then I move on to the next day. But again, if price is developing something and I could see it going in a certain direction, sometimes I'll stay in the charts a little bit longer because the next macro time frame opens up. But again, I usually like to be done around 10:30 to 10:45 if I don't see anything, if it's all chopped. So the sweet window where I want to take a trade is between 9:50 a.m. Eastern time and 10:10 a.m. Eastern time. But again, it doesn't have to be in between that. That's where I'm mostly confident in taking a trade if a setup presents itself. But again, as you guys get better in the markets, you're just going to develop your own system, and whatever works best for you works best for you. So hopefully this helps on time frames of what to do. I'm going to get the next video recorded right after this one, and that's just going to be honestly like just wishing you guys the best of luck and just being honest on what you should expect. Again, I'm just going to save that for the next video. I'm going to stop talking here. I'm going to shut up. Hopefully this helps, and then we'll go over that next video. If you're going to watch the next one right away, I'll see you in 2 seconds. All right, goodbye.